Hey, Kyle is wonderful here again with another wrestling review. This time it's NJPW New Japan Road Night 7 from July 4th, 2022. And definitely a lot happened last night. Definitely go check out my July 3rd. I have a review video up as well as me going through all the backstage comments that once we got the translations and stuff. So a lot of things were said, a lot of things happened. Only a short little introduction that they wrote for tonight's show. So I'll read that first. New Japan Road Night 7 brings us an all-star tag team match to light the July 4th fireworks. We start with the same opening video as we saw yesterday, and I noticed you can find these opening videos on the New Japan Pro Wrestling YouTube page, and it has the English translation on there for you. So before we just get into the show, let's kind of go over, like I said, I went over everything in my other two videos if you want the in-depth review of both the show and the backstage interviews. But a lot was said, starting with Kushida basically being completely truthful about what happened in NXT. Everything he said, since I know NXT and WWE very well, everything he said seemed to be true. And he's just grateful to be back here and have another chance because he was like, my dream was to be in a WrestleMania match with like Daniel Bryan or Kyle O'Reilly. But then he mentioned how like the opportunities for people to go to the main roster were cut. They took away the cruiserweight division and stuff like that. So really good stuff. And then Kushida also started that promo by saying that this will be the last time he ever talks about WWE here on NJPW. So he said he didn't want to be disrespectful to either company by continuing to bring it up. But Kenta then brought it up again. He was in the big tag match last night with the return of both Kenta and Kushida last night on opposite six-man tag teams. Anyway, Kushida was all mad because Alex Zane was getting good responses just for his little corny thank you for the meal lines that he was doing when the crowd was loving it. Kushida was saying like, when I was in NXT and WWE, I was saying cool stuff like respect me, and he said it exactly like he used to. And he said the crowds weren't even giving me any response to respect me, but here in Japan, these crowds are soft. They're cheering this guy saying, "Oh, thank you for my meal." So good stuff. There's a lot of other things. John Moxley got called out by, I think it was Desperado. El Desperado called out John Moxley, so that might be something we see. Maybe El Desperado doesn't have anything to do during G1, and we might be seeing El Desperado back in AEW, potentially in the main event match against Moxley. Another person who said they wanted another match in AEW was Shingo, who was mad that even though he won, Sting got the pin, and he's like, Sting stole it, and when I come back to AEW, I want main events and title matches, Shingo says. And he also wants Sting, apparently. So that's a match. Sign me up for that one. And of course, Great-O-Khan wants his IWGP tag titles back. He said it was a complete conspiracy between AEW, FTR, and Roppongi Vice, and cited like that Cash Wheeler and Rocky Romero teamed up on a pile driver on Great-O-Khan, and then like the other guy left the match, Dax left the match quote unquote injured forever and came back, and the fact that it was a three-way to begin with. So a lot of good points there. I assume we'll see FTR versus United Empire in Japan, but again, we'll have to wait till G1's over since Jeff Cobb and Great-O-Khan are in the G1. But with some of these guys that are in G1, we might be seeing some of them over the AEW. So let's get into the show. If you're interested more in what happened with that and what happened last night, both of those videos are up on my channel now. And the first match tonight is going to see Kosei Fujita versus Minoru Suzuki. And I was excited when I saw this match. If you watched last night, Kosei Fujita, the young lion, was going after Suzuki before the bell even rang yesterday. So I was excited that this was going to start out the match in a one-on-one match. I'll just read the little introduction they have first. At 19 years old, Kosei Fujita is the youngest member of the NJPW roster, but has shown incredible heart and passion in recent weeks, even in the face of stiff competition. No competition is stiffer than Minoru Suzuki, though. With odds severely stacked against him, can Fujita live the fight another day? So they're not even like, can he win? Can he just survive? Which was funny. We saw yesterday that Fujita is obsessed with taking out Suzuki. Meanwhile, Suzuki really didn't seem to care if he just wanted a more challenging fight, basically. Suzuki did. So this should be an interesting one. We start with the night out with the familiar Young Lion music that usually starts these smaller shows. Yesterday was an exception. We started out with the Tiger Mask music, but remember, Tiger Mask was a late replacement for Young Lion Nakashima, so we would have started with the Young Lions music yesterday. And then Kaze Nino Rei plays next, and the king Minoru Suzuki comes out. Nobody flanking him. He's all by himself. Doesn't need any backup against the Young Lion in his mind. As soon as the bell rings, Fujita then, of course, charges Suzuki just like yesterday. And if you just glance at Fujita, he kind of looks like Austin Theory, who just won the Money in the Bank briefcase in WWE. And Austin Theory is only 24 years old, so maybe those two will be having some battles in like 15 years' time for some kind of world title. Who knows how the crazy world of wrestling works? But I could see that happening. But he's got like, I mean, it's the hair and the goatee really, and that they have a good bodies. But that's enough to make me think like they kind of seem like. So remember, Fujita just charged Suzuki, but Suzuki just turns the tide in his favor right away with a kick to the back of Fujita's knee and then right into a sleeper hold. And this is like a nasty looking sleeper hold. Kind of turns into just a headlock kind of, but Suzuki's showing a ton of aggression on this, and Suzuki's looking to end it quickly. So the crowd realizes what's happening. They quickly rally behind Fujita, who's able to fight his way back to the ropes to break the hold. Good start there. Fujita now decides to be a little bit more cautious, so he's kind of just feeling his way around and trying to. He knows that he was just almost put out right there, and unlike yesterday when he had tag partners to come help him out, no tag partners here for Fujita tonight. So Fujita is going to look to make it an amateur grappling affair instead, but Suzuki just immediately counters a go behind into a wrist lock and into a hammer lock. Suzuki takes it to the mat now, but he loses wrist control. Suzuki then counters back into a hammer lock on the mat, but Suzuki works over the neck, shoulder, and arm and wrist of Fujita, just really stretching him out here. Great stuff. Stu Hart would be proud. The crowd's rallying behind Fujita, who fights out and onto his feet. We get a test of strength now, immediately turned into another hold by Suzuki. Suzuki is not messing around tonight. He takes Fujita back to the mat and works over the arm some more. The crowd's rallying again, but doesn't even help this time. Fujita's in a bind. Fujita then gets close to tapping from a well-locked in hammerlock, but Suzuki masterfully rolls around to keep Fujita from getting to the ropes. Really good stuff here. I'm loving this match. Great way to start the night. The crowd rallies again, and Fujita is able to use his power. Probably has the strength advantage on Suzuki to get a foot on the rope. Fujita's arm now has to be completely dead after all this, and Fujita has a little bit trouble to getting back to his feet. But Suzuki waits for him and then kicks him right back to the ground, Suzuki style. Suzuki is now toying with Fujita a little bit, who hits a big drop kick and fires up. Fujita does. Fujita then hits some forearms and a back elbow, but Suzuki blocks the suplex attempt. It was a belly-to-belly attempt, but then Fujita just hits the belly-to-belly suplex instead right after the block, and he's able to hit it. Fujita's now looking in the lock in the Boston Crab, but Suzuki slaps him in the face 3 times. This makes Fujita mad. And he looks to turn over Suzuki, but Suzuki just does a 360 roll right back onto his back. Fujita's now really mad. He lets go. He stomps Suzuki's head repeatedly. Some more forearms and a drop kick get Fujita a 2 count. Suzuki right up with some knees, but Fujita takes back control with his speed advantage now. So maybe the speed and the strength advantage, but not the technique and experience advantage. That's for sure. Fujita looks to pick up Suzuki, who counters it into a pin. Suzuki transitions from the pin into a triangle choke and then quickly transitions that into an armbar. And surprisingly, Fujita is able to nip up to break the hold, and not like a nip up to get to his feet, but the exact same motion as a nip up to break the hold. I like that a lot. That looked cool. Fujita now looks to pick the leg of the standing Suzuki, amateur style, but the master Suzuki just counters it easily into an armbar, and Fujita is now forced to tap. That was that arm that was basically dead. So great stuff. I love this match. I love Suzuki. Fujita looks like he's going to be something special. Remember, he's only 19. Love this stuff. So the winner is Minoru Suzuki by submission in 8 minutes 20 seconds. Great stuff. Like I said, the crowd cheers the performance. Suzuki claps to get them a little bit louder, and then Suzuki just storms off without celebrating. No reason to celebrate for the veteran against the young lion here. He was just looking to end this as quickly as possible. And Fujita's yelling mad in the ring, and he leaves his ice bag. He doesn't even want to ice his shoulder. The youngster definitely needs to tame his anger a little bit. He kind of lost focus when he let go when Suzuki not only slapped him 3 times but then rolled through on the Boston Crab attempt. That's where Fujita lost any chance of winning this match. And then again, he's not icing his injury. Fujita's going to have a match tomorrow, so these are things he's going to have to learn. Fujita's not icing his arm down right after the match, where he's going to probably have a match tomorrow, kind of deal. So great stuff. Love that opening. Let me get a quick drink because that one made me thirsty just thinking about how great that amateur style action is. Just a pure like submission and the counter wrestling. All right, match 2 was an interesting one because it was again a mystery opponent. So it was listed as Taka Michinoku in a singles match versus X. So not only Taka Michinoku in a singles match, but against a mystery opponent where it could be anybody. Now, I kind of assumed that it was just going to be Tiger Mask, just like yesterday. But I do remember that Tenzan was talking in his promo yesterday, this backstage segment, where Tenzan was like, on day 3, tomorrow, the July 5th, Tenzan has to team with the mystery opponent, and Tenzan was wondering who it was. And I figured Tenzan knows more about what's going on than me, so the fact that he just didn't say that, oh, I'll be teaming with Tiger Mask, kind of led me to believe it wasn't going to be Tiger Mask, but we'll see here. Here's the little info they wrote. A left elbow injury for Yuto Nakashima, that's the young lion that got injured, has led to a mystery participant in the 3 Kurikan cards this week. We'll find out the identity of the mysterious X on Sunday, and after a tag clash on the first night of the triple header, they'll have the tough task of tackling the technical master and veteran in Taka Michinoku Monday. Now, see how they worded that? That again made me think, well, maybe it is Tiger Mask, because they were acting like whoever X was going to be on Sunday was going to be the same person that would be X on Monday. But that was not the case, thankfully. So, not thankfully, but I really enjoyed what happened. So, Taka Michinoku coming out to his Taka is coming, mother effer music. Love that stuff. And I love that it's the exact same like instrumental that he came out in 1997, 1998 on Raw when I first met him. Then holy crap, right after that, some of the best wrestling music in history hits. It is Noah's GHC heavyweight champion, Satoshi Kojima, returning to New Japan. And the crowd can't help but make a noise with their mouth right when the music hits. They're so like shocked and excited. Taka then starts complaining to the referee right away. Remember, he was supposed to just fight a young lion tonight, and now he's got the GHC heavyweight champion coming out, Satoshi Kojima. He's wearing the GHC title and a Noah t-shirt. 2 straight days of the mystery wrestler being a returning legend who returns with a title from outside the company. Remember, Tiger Mask was showing off his All Japan World Junior Tag Team or World Heavyweight title, the singles title, and now we've got the GHC World Heavyweight title out here on Kojima. So that makes me think: is it going to be Are we going to get Tenkozy tomorrow, or is it going to be yet another mystery opponent? Or I mean, a new mystery. Is there anybody else that's a legend that's out there that has a title in another company? Anyway, Taka jumps Kojima right before the bell even rings. So Taka is knowing that he's going to have to take it to Kojima. Taka takes the fight to the outside, throws Kojima into the barricade, doing a little number on Kojima's arm now, using the barricade as a fulcrum, and then the same with the ring post, using it as a fulcrum. The crowd's rallying behind Kojima already now. Back in the ring, Kojima hits a few strikes, but Taka pokes the eyes to get back control. Taka works the arm a little bit more. Then Taka hits the rapid chops and another poke in the eyes. Then Taka hits a absolutely terrible running knee lift to the face in the corner, just in super slow motion. It looks like it barely even touched at all. Kojima finally turns it around and shows Taka how to do the rapid chops correctly. Then Taka tries to fight back and gets a roll up for a 2 count. Crowd rallies behind Kojima again, who blocks a Michinoku driver attempt. Kojima then fires up with some big forearms and a Koji cutter. And Kojima then throws his elbow pad away, but Taka counters the lariato into an armbar and then traps both arms behind the back of Kojima. Kojima's able to get to the ropes, hits a brainbuster for a 2 count on Taka. Taka gets an enziguri to connect, but eats a massive lariato. Right after that, 1, 2, 3. The winner is Satoshi Kojima by pinfall in 6 minutes, 54 seconds. And like I was saying, that we'll see if the ex mystery partner of Tenzan tomorrow sees the return of Ten Cozy, or will it be something else? And I mean, pretty much a nothing match here, mostly dominated by Taka Michinoku cheating. We got a couple of big, the 3 moves of doom from Kojima, basically, but hearing his music alone at be the mystery partner was the draw in this. So plus, it was cool just to have him back. Like he hasn't. It establishes that like Tiger Mask and Kojima are still NJPW guys, even though they're champions and mostly working full time currently in other companies. But they're still NJPW guys, and I like the fact that they can come in and be a replacement for an injured young lion at any given moment. So that shows just great cohesiveness and throughout the wrestling world. I think every company should be bound together. Other than WWE, do not let WWE into the cavalcade of alliance of companies worldwide, please. Anyway, big cheers for Kojima, who gets on the mic just like Tiger Mask did yesterday. Kojima says a few things. He holds up and the title, the GHC heavyweight title, and talks for only a quick second. He only says one line, maybe two, unlike Tiger Mask, who milked his time on the mic yesterday. So again, I will put out another video probably between before I put a review out for tomorrow's July 5th event. I'll get out a video talking about the backstage segments, and they'll also let us know what Kojima said here. So stay tuned for that. Give me a subscribe so you don't miss those. But anyway, that was good stuff. Like I said, I was just seeing him was the draw. Third match is going to be a Great Bash heel. That's Togi Sweets Makabe and Tomoaki Honma teaming up against Hiroshi Hiroshi Tenzan and Ryohei Oiwa, the young lion. Again, the young lion in here with a ton of experience other than himself, just massive amounts of years of experience. Here's the little intro they wrote. GBH that's Great Bash Heel will do battle against Hiroshi Tenzan and Ryohei Oiwa tonight. As Oiwa's young lion development continues at an accelerated pace, he and Tenzan seek to make a dent in two-time former World Tag League winners and former IWGP Tag Champions. An uphill climb indeed. So yeah, Oiwa is I think 23, still pretty young, not as young as the 19-year-old Fujita, but Oiwa also looks to be a star in the making. So we'll see how he does here. Again, just having all these youngsters in the ring with people that have 25 years of experience, like they did with the Tiger Mask match yesterday, and now Tenzan's in replacing Tiger Mask. Great stuff. Meanwhile, Fujita's learning on the job training with the king Minoru Suzuki. And how much better training can you have than that? It's such a freaking good system by having all the veterans stay around and then they fight the youngsters and pretty much win every time against the youngsters, but basically training them. Then when the time comes, they send the youngsters out to somewhere in the world, whether it be Mexico, USA, Britain, Australia, maybe even like in the mainland Asia. I'm not quite sure, but they send them to all their partnerships and come back, so that way they don't come back, or that way they don't all develop into being the exact same people. They all get the exact same training as far as the fundamentals, but then they get to go out and become someone else, so that not everybody's a clone of each other. So Tenzan's music hits, and the nostalgia continues with all the great music we've gotten through this tour. Oiwa runs out, Tenzan follows. Tenzan has a pep in his step tonight, more so than usual. Maybe just seeing Kojima here fired him up or something. Maybe he just really at this point in his career loves tag teaming with the youngsters. It makes him feel young. So we get that dubbed music for the Great Bash Heels, but it's not a bad song. Every time that dubbed music comes up, it's not too bad. Which reminds me of any of you guys that were into this or were watching WWE. Speaking like GHB has probably the second best dubbed music ever. The first best is I weirdly as good as Sandman and coming out the Enter Sandman is. The WWE dub of the Sandman music was weirdly kind of good. It's like it just like fit really well. Like we couldn't have Enter Sandman. That was a good. So I like this dub music as well. Um, sorry if I talk about the music too much. I'm just a music guy when it comes to wrestling. I have a music background. But Honma comes out limping already. Damn, Honma. Honma stares down the young lion Oiwa, and these two will start the match. Remember, these two, Oiwa fought against Great Bash Heel yesterday, and his teammate was Tiger Mask. This time he brings in a little bit bigger of a partner in Tenzan. We'll see if that helps. And Honma stares down the young lion, like I said, and those two will start the match. They have a striking exchange that Oiwa actually wins with a shoulder tackle. Honma then blocks a scoop slam, but Oiwa blocks Honma back right away. Oiwa goes for a drop kick, but Honma pumps the brakes, and Oiwa just goes crashing to the ground. Honma then hits the seated like position of Oiwa trying to get back up with a massive crossbody. It might have even been like a diving headbutt Kakashi style because the announcers got really loud on that move. So I wasn't quite sure. It looked like a crossbody to me, but it might have been a diving headbutt. Honma shoves Tenzan off the apron and then floors Oiwa with one forearm, crumpling Oiwa to the ground, and then Makabe tags in. So the crowd's rallying behind Oiwa here, and we get a striking exchange between Makabe and Oiwa, and easily won by Makabe. Then a tag back to Honma, who hits a super sloppy hip toss, so sloppy that Honma loses his balance and falls over like an old man right after he hits it. Not good. Honma then sits deep on a one-legged Boston Crab, but Oiwa is able to get to the ropes. Makabe now tags in and works over a chin lock. The chin lock's always the cue for the crowd to rally. They rally behind Oiwa here. Tenzan jumps in to break up the holds before it gets any worse. And then Oiwa slow to get up, so Makabe throws him into the GBH corner. Honma tags in and motions for the crowd to clap. Big boots by Honma. Claps for the crowd again for Honma. Oiwa fires up with some slaps. Then a reverses a Honma brainbuster into a drop kick. Tenzan gets the hot tag now. He knocks Makabe off the apron and hits some Mongolian chops on Honma. Tenzan hits a brainbuster on Honma for a 2 count. Then drops a Kokeshi headbutt to Honma. So basically, I mean, it was just a diving headbutt like from the ground, but it looked like a Kokeshi headbutt. Makabe comes in to break up a headlock. Tenzan his Mongolian chops him right out of the ring. That was Makabe that got knocked out. Honma then battles back with some chops and headbutts. Then a Kokeshi headbutt and hits Tenzan, and Makabe tags in. Makabe hits the 10 punches in the corner, but then eats some more Mongolian chops. Tenzan hits his patented backdrop suplex thing, and then tags in Oiwa. Oiwa with some great fire taking down Makabe here, but a gut wrench suplex is blocked by Makabe. Oiwa hits a drop kick to knock back down Makabe. Tenzan now knocks Honma off the apron so that they can go do a double team on Makabe. They do, ending with Oiwa hitting successfully the gut wrench suplex for a 2 count. Oiwa applies the Boston Crab now. Honma comes in with some forearms, but Oiwa isn't phased. He keeps the hold on, but Tenzan takes out Honma, and Makabe gets to the ropes to break the hold. Oiwa drops Makabe to a knee with a great looking shoulder tackle. He's able to drop Makabe to a knee at least, but Makabe hits a big lariat and puts Oiwa on the Boston Crab. Oiwa is able to push himself like a push-up off the mat, but he cannot move Makabe an inch and is forced to tap out. The winners are Great Bash Heel by submission in 10 minutes, 50 seconds. Makabe's flipping off the two as they leave, and Honma actually limps less after the match than he does before the match, so that man must just be a complete wreck in his everyday life, can barely get around. Because I'm sure he warms up a lot before he even comes to the curtain. And the fact that he limps less after the match tells me that God, once he's cools down and stuff, he's just gonna be a wreck. That's never good. That's the side of wrestling that just makes it. That's why I don't cheer too much when I see like just the craziest bumps, and I don't want wrestling to become this thing where we have to top the next bump, or the next generation has to be doing crazier bumps than the last generation and stuff like that. All right, we got our fourth match, and I was looking forward to this one. If you saw last night, the announcers fell in absolute love with the DKC, who was an LA Dojo recruit, and he came over with Clark Connors, who was one of the biggest breakout hits in not only NJPW but AEW as well at Forbidden Door in the last 2 weeks. I think the biggest breakout hit anywhere in the world is Clark Connors. So I was looking forward to this one. They had a match last night and lost to Suzuki was in that match, but now Taichi replaces Suzuki. I think that was the match. Anyway, it's going to be Yuji Nagata, the DKC, and Clark Connors versus Suzuki-guns, Taichi, El Desperado, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. And the little intro they wrote was the Noge Dojo Master and Yuji Nagata teams with recent LA graduates in Clark Connors and current prospect in progress, the DKC. They will face Suzuki-gun tonight. The DKC is will the DKC's will is famed for his heart and fire. I don't know why the will part is there. The DKC is famed for his heart and fire, but will have to bring every part of it against the former IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions, as well as Taichi, eager to make a statement ahead of his B block entry into G1. Could a blend of youth and experience create some surprises tonight? DKC, like I said, was a massive hit with the crowd, and especially the Japanese announce team yesterday. They were going nuts for all his karate moves. DKC was yelling like "Hiya, hiya!" So then the announcers were going like "Hiya, hiya, hiya!" throughout the entire match. They just were. I don't know if they were mocking him and making fun of him, or they lightheartedly just enjoyed what he did. But then like DKC yelled out "DKC fire" at one point. So then the announcers were just going "DKC fire, DKC fire." It was amazing. So I was hoping we were going to get more of that tonight, and we do. It wasn't quite as exaggerated, but it was still. He's definitely a hit, and I think a hit with the crowd is too. They just can't use their mouth yet. But all three members of Suzuki-gun come out to Taichi singing, and I write down Miho Abe better be at G1 or we riot. And their three opponents all come out to Nagata's music. Of course, the legend Connors gets right into the face of Desperado before the match. And I can't wait for the DKC to get in this match, like I said, so I can hear the Japanese commentators yell about him. And nice, DKC will start the match, and he'll start with Kanemaru. So after some really quick pace counterattack action at the beginning, like way too fast for me to even describe, just go watch this match for sure. The DKC counters into a big hi-ya karate punch, and this starts the commentators on their hi-yas with them. So the DKC hits a shoulder tackle and yells, DKC, while hitting another karate chop. Again, the announcers pop and they're like mocking it or laughing with it. I don't know at or with, but they're loving it. Kanemaru turns it around with an eye rake, of course, and tags in Desperado. So they hit a double team move on the DKC, but the DKC fights out of it and tags in Clark Connors. And the announcers love Clark Connors too. They're like yelling like Wild Rhino when he comes in and stuff like that. So a couple guys that are big hits with at least the announcers. I don't know if that means the fans love him, but I assume it does. Connors then gets some good strikes in on Desperado, and then they have a chop battle. Super loud chops to the chest back and forth here. Connors starts to take advantage, but Desperado rakes the eyes of Connors, then throws Connors out of the ring and into the barricade. Taichi's now going after Nagata, who's on the apron. And then Taichi comes back over and tags in. The announcers talk about how Desperado challenged Moxley last night. I'm pretty sure that's what they were saying, since I know that's what Desperado did last night. And they said John Moxley's name here. They also mentioned Jericho, and Desperado explained the whole, like, how they had to come to Jericho's aid as well, because Jericho was quote unquote shorthanded. which he definitely wasn't. There's freaking 5 other guys in his stable. The Jericho Appreciation Society, that is. Taichi then takes it to Connors, then tags in Kanemaru. And Kanemaru keeps the pressure on Connors. Clark Connors has definitely kind of been paying his dues these last 2 nights. Kind of for like, oh yeah, we had you beat Honma, and then you got to take the injured Ishii's place at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Time for you to pay just a few more dues for that. So they've been kicking the crap out of Clark Connors these last 2 nights. So last night and this night. Connors tries to fight back once Desperado comes in, but eats a giant forearm, and that floors Connors, but only for a 2 count. The crowd's rallying behind Connors, who now hits a tackle and is able to tag in Yuji Nagata. So Nagata comes in with some big kicks to Desperado and a haluva kick in the corner. Kanemaru runs in, but gets thrown right out by Nagata. Gets thrown by Nagata with a beautiful overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Beautiful stuff here from the veteran. Nagata blocks an exploder suplex, and then, that was Nagata tries to do the exploder suplex, but it's blocked, and Taichi then tags in. Taichi hits a kick to the face of Nagata, but that only makes Nagata mad. Taichi does it again, so Nagata tries to fire up, but Taichi bites the forehead of Nagata. Taichi then talks a ton of trash, and it turns into, I'm going to kick your leg, you kick my leg competition. Taichi, of course, tries to switch it up to a chest kick. So Nagata just grabs it and hits the exploder suplex. Tag to DKC now, who comes in yelling, and the announcers love it, and they're yelling back at him or with him or whatever. A bunch of high chops from DKC now to Taichi. Connors and Nagata rush in to take out the other 2 on the apron. So that means we're getting close to the end here. And the announcers chant DKC. The announcers are chanting DKC as they triple team Taichi, but Desperado and Kanemaru are able to break it up. Clark Connors and Nagata then throw them back out. The announcer again chants DKC. DKC hits a big karate kick and hits a karate chop off the top rope. Then he yells DKC fire, which of course the announcers yell DKC fire. And but Taichi blocks the chop attempt. Taichi hits his own karate kick for a 2 count. The crowd loves DKC, and but then Taichi just counters into a massive Saito suplex. The DKC got absolutely folded in half. He's probably going to take him an hour to get out of bed the next morning. Taichi gets the 1, 2, 3 out of this massive suplex, and your winners are Suzuki-gun by pinfall in 11 minutes, 24 seconds. Great match here. Love everything about DKC and how much the announcers freak out over him. Desperado's beating up Connors a little bit more after the match now. And once that settles down, Connors yelling, F you, over and over. And Nagata has to drag him to the back. So Connors was all fired up here. Little intermission. Now nothing of note happens. The announcers run down the final 3 matches, which will be a 6-man, a 10-man, and a 4-man tag team match. So let's get into it. Since nothing happened in intermission, we've got I'll just take a drink. Little intermission for myself. But yeah, go check out my backstage comments. I try to act out basically at the best of my abilities what they're saying. So I try to put some emotion behind it. And it's not just a dry reading of a transcript. You know what I mean? All right, so the 5th match, right after we get it back from intermission, is Chaos. That'll be YOSHI-HASHI, Toru Yano, and Hirooki Goto versus the House of Torture, Evil, Dick Togo, and Yujiro Takahashi. And this is exact rematch from a match we saw last night. These were supposed to be 8-man tags, but Yo unfortunately got injured. But Yo will be cleared to wrestle for tomorrow's match. The 6-man never open weight titles will be on the line between these 2 teams, as well as a dog cage match between Dick Togo and Toru Yano, which probably is going to be better than it sounds. So let's read the little intro here. 6-man action. We'll see the last preview for the Forces of Chaos and House of Torture heading into tomorrow's never open weight 6-man tag team championship main event. Yo will be cleared to compete and to even the odds for Chaos on the night, while Toru Yano will be attempting to eliminate Dick Togo from the proceedings in a dog dog cage match immediately preceding the main event. So hopefully he's hoping to take out Dick Togo so that he never comes back for the main event kind of deal. And who will send a critical message tonight? This is an exact rematch from last night, like I said, where Yujiro won the match after a show distraction with a wrench. All Show had to do was come out. He didn't come out with them originally. He came out at the end of the match, banged a wrench against the post, and that was enough distraction to win the match for Yujiro Takahashi. So Chaos comes out to Goto's great music, and Yano's dragging the dog cage out with him. House of Torture now out with Evil's music, of course. They won this exact match last night with a show distraction, like I told you. And Show wasn't even out here last night, so let's see if he joins them at the start of this match. And yes, the first person out is for House of Torture is Show. And that makes me say, well, then I wonder if we'll see Yo tonight. But no, spoiler alert, no Yo tonight. So Yano squirts disinfectant or sprays squirt spray. Yano sprays disinfectant in Togo's face during the introductions. Makabe on commentary now, and he's wearing his own T-shirt that looks amazing. It's like a demon version of himself. Really cool. I want that shirt. And for once, Chaos is the one to attack before the bell rings and not the other way around. So this match starts with a 6-man brawl to the outside, of course. That's just how yesterday's match started. And the only thing I found exciting or entertaining out of this entire feud going back like weeks now is Yo's hot tags. Yo's hot tags have been the only entertaining part of this feud, and now Yo's been out for the last 2 weeks. I mean, two nights. So there's been nothing I've been finding of entertaining really out of these. But it does come all to a head tomorrow. Yo will be back, and we'll get the dog collar match or the dog cage match, which should be at least be entertaining. You know, it's not going to be classic wrestling or even funny per se, but it should be entertaining. Maybe I'll have to have a couple drinks or something. But Show distracts Goto, which allows Evil to take control right at the beginning. Yano tried to put Dick Togo in a dog cage right before that, but had failed. So remember, they were all 6-man brawling. But yeah, Show distracts Goto. That allows Evil to take control. Those two end up in the ring, and they'll start it out. So it's Goto and Evil. Goto's able to fight back. Yujiro runs in, and but Goto takes him out too. Dick Togo tries to help, but gets scared and then just gets beat up. Show then trips Goto from behind, and Evil is able to maintain control off of this. Yujiro gets now in and takes it to Goto. There's zero entertainment in all of this. It's everything we've already seen before. And Show and Evil take out Goto on the outside, then throw him back in the Dick Togo. The crowd rallies behind Goto, but Dick cheats to stay in control. Crowd rallies again, but Togo shuts them up again. Goto fires up and hits a brainbuster after that and tags in Yano. I don't know why Dick Togo had to he should have just bit on the second rally from the crowd. What the heck? You're supposed to be a veteran. Maybe he knows more than me, but I mean by the time never mind. It's not worth my breath. Anyway, Goto fires up, hits the brainbuster, tags in Yano. Yano comes in, he takes the turnbuckle pad off right away, but Togo's able to outsmart Yano, and Yano punches the pad and hurts his own hand. Yano then takes control anyway and hits a big atomic drop. And then YOSHI-HASHI tags in now and gets a thumb to the eye from Dick Togo. Tag over the Yujiro now, and they try to double team YOSHI-HASHI, but fail. YOSHI-HASHI hits his nice running blockbuster for a 2 count. Then Yujiro bites the hand and drops YOSHI-HASHI on the top rope. And all three of House of Torture in now with a triple team on YOSHI-HASHI, ending with a brain buster by Yujiro for a 2 count. YOSHI-HASHI then blocks the DDT, and Goto is in to help. They take out Evil and just about to double team Yujiro until Show for the second straight night distracts everybody, including the ref, by banging his wrench on the ring post. I didn't know that's such a damn distraction. This is like straight out of WWE. Come on, New Japan. You're better than WWE. Come on. Evil runs in, and while the ref is turned, distracted by Show banging a wrench on a ring post, Evil and Yujiro try to hit low blows on Goto and YOSHI-HASHI, but both Goto and YOSHI-HASHI are able to block the low blows and get wrist control through their legs. And Toru Yano sneaks up behind the two House of Torture members, and double low blow to each Evil and Yujiro. So Sho tries to rush into the ring, but Yano kicks the ring rope, and the Sho yam bags. So 3 yam bag shots here in a row, all by the master of the sneak attacks, Yano. Goto and YOSHI-HASHI hit the double team super kick Ushi-Hiroshi combo on Yujiro, and then they hit their power bomb final cut combo for the 1-2-3. The winners are Chaos by pinfall in 9 minutes 41 seconds, but it felt like a half hour, bro. When I looked this up and it said 9 minutes, I was like, no way, this felt like 15 minutes. I say it felt like a half hour, but I was like, how was this not 15 minutes? This was so long and boring. I know everyone that has a voice says the same thing, so I don't need to keep saying it. Nobody likes the House of Torture or finds any entertainment out of them. Anyway, Yoshi-Hashi he's holding up 2 of the never open weight 6-man tag titles. That title match will be tomorrow's main event on July 5th, and the semi-main event will be the dog cage match between Yano and Togo. And we have to hear way too much of Yoshi-Hashi's music after the match. He's add him to the list with like Sonata that has some pretty annoying music. So we're on to our semifinal, the second to last match tonight. It will be a big 10-man tag featuring Chaos members Kazuchika Okada and Tomohiro Ishii, 6 to 9 members Master Wato and Ryusuke Taguchi, and then Alex Zane will be their partner. And they'll take on all 5 members of Los Ingobernables de Japón. That is Shingo Takagi, Tetsuya Naito, Cold Skull Sonata, Hiromu Takahashi, and Bushi. So 10-man action will see LIJ face a combined sorry face a combined Chaos and Hantai group. The sight of Alex Zane teaming with Kazuchika Okada will be interesting one indeed, and neither team will be given an inch as G1 Climax 32 looms, and Hiromu Takahashi and Bushi will be looking to surpass Team 6 or 9 in the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship Contender Stakes. That's a mouthful. It surely seems like, this is me talking now, it surely seems like Hiromu and Bushi are going to be tag champions again. They're way too popular to not be. So Bushi's music hits, which means we're about to get all 5 members of LIJ getting separate entrances. And wow, as we get off all, I can see why they get separate entrances. LIJ has cornered the market with the women fans of NJPW because each member has their own women's section in the crowd. They are a hit with the ladies. The coin hitting the floor sound hits, which only means one thing: Okada's music. And Bushi reacts really well to this. I love this out of Bushi. The coin drops, like Okada's music starts, and he snaps his head up like he was looking at something else, and he goes, "Whoa!" Like just little things like that make wrestling better. So shout out to Bushi for that. All 5 people come out to Okada's music, of course. Okada's soaking up the adoration from the crowd. He's such like like the thing with Okada is he's like one of the best wrestlers in the world, but man, he's one of those like cocky baby faces that you like. If this was WWE and it was a guy that like he basically has like John Cena's kind of cockiness and thinks he's better than everybody else, but he actually is better than everybody else, unlike John Cena. But I could definitely see where Okada could have some fans like turn against him, that he's way too cocky. But some people probably love that about him too. So it works both ways. But like I said, unlike John Cena, this guy can actually wrestle. John Cena is one of the worst wrestlers of history. The only world champion in history that have worse footwork than John Cena is the Great Khali, and that's not saying much. That's a low bar. Anyway, like I said, Okada's soaking up the adoration from the crowd. Master Wato and Alex Zane are posing while playing with their hair. That's usually something Alex Zane does. So apparently he's rubbing off on Master Wato. And they look like a good tag team, bro. Master Wato in his all blue and Alex Zane in his all red. I think I much prefer that over Taguchi being a tag team with Master Wato. So I think that's something we could see in the future and I hope we still continue to see Alex Zane Alex Zane looks, acts, and sounds like a star. He just needs to improve a little bit in the ring, but you by having match after match in NJPW, you gotta improve, right? And if you don't, then you get kicked out. But I could see Master Wato and Alex Zane forming a tag team. That looks like a good tag team right there. So Bushi has, I noticed the Ziggy Stardust mask night where he has like this giant, like coming out of his mask star. Looks really cool. And I like that Ziggy Stardust is like, Stardust is the nickname of Naito, of course. So starting this match will be Ishii and Sanada, who are both in B block for G1. So that's why they're starting out here. We get some great, quick, fast-paced counterattack wrestling to start. You don't always say the word quick and Ishii in the same sentence, but yes, I just did. So great start here. And each man tries to do the Paradise Lock. So once Ishii blocks the Paradise Lock, he goes for his own Paradise Block, but that's quickly blocked. Ishii gets the first big shot of the match with a shoulder tackle on Sanada. Naito and Okada both tag in now. So here we go. It wasn't that long ago we got Naito versus Okada for the title. And Naito hits his brilliant corner combo to Okada where he trips him, goes over the ropes, and hits the delayed dropkick thing. Love that move. Okada counters into a DDT, massive DDT, one of the best DDTs in the world. The crowd's rallying behind Naito now. So this is definitely an LIJ crowd here in Kurikan. And like I said, the women are just, it's just like 98, it's like 90% of women are LIJ fans, and then the other 10% are fans of everybody else. But anyway, Taguchi now tags in, and Wato follows him in for a double team on Naito. Then they double team Bushi, and another double team on Naito, but Hiromu comes in to help. We get a double atomic drop on Taguchi's funky weapon. That is his butt, if you didn't know. And boy, we're about to get a lot of butt attacks. So Naito spanks Taguchi hard 3 times. The announcers say in English, spanking. And we get a tag to Shingo. They hit a double team spank and then an atomic drop on Taguchi. Shingo hits a brain buster and tags in Bushi. Bushi now hits a few double team spanks on Taguchi. Bushi then hits a middle rope drop kick, and Bushi Roni's up. The crowd finally rallies behind Taguchi after all this. Definitely an LIJ crowd. Taguchi goes for the funky weapon rear view attack, but it is countered by an atomic drop and then a spanking again. Taguchi goes for it again and hits Bushi, knocking him down. So Alex Zane gets the hot tag. He takes everyone out. Hiromu in now, and Zane hits a big flipping leg drop, like Famouser type thing, flipping Famouser. I don't know how to describe it, but it was great looking, great stuff there. Naito rushes in, but Zane is able to dodge it and then uses Naito as a platform to jump off and hit Bushi. So great stuff here by Zane. Zane with a perfect tope con hero over the top, taking out all of LIJ. Back in the ring, Zane hits a very innovative move. I didn't even know how to describe this one, but it looked amazing. Somehow it's kicked out for a 2 count. Okada takes out Shingo on the apron now as Zane looks to end it. Hiromu and Zane counter each other about 4 times. Master Wato now tags in and takes it to Hiromu, who fights back but eats a big drop kick. Right after Hiromu Hiromu hits a dragon screw leg whip on Wato and then tags in Shingo. Shingo now in with a big corner lariat and a brain buster. Okada has to come breaking up the pin. Wato's in trouble big time. But Wato does battle back, hits a Hurricane Rana. Then we get a triple team move on Shingo by Zane and 6-9. Hiromu then breaks that up. The crowd's loving this match. Shingo blocks a move twice in a row from Wato, then a big lariat. I thought that might have been it, but it's a 2 count. Okada now in and hits a flapjack on. So Okada did not get a tag, but he comes in anyway, gets flapjacked by Shingo. Naito charges, or no, he hits a flapjack on Shingo. Naito charges Okada, takes out Okada. Ishii then takes out Naito. Sanada and Ishii counter each other with a bunch of moves, but Ishii wins the exchange. Shingo then takes out Ishii. Wato has a really bad looking kick on Shingo, then a better looking suplex. Anything would be better than that kick, but a good looking suplex by Wato. Shingo's able to kick out at 2. Wado counters again and hits a crucifix pin for a 2. Shingo then blocks a kick and hits the most um beautiful, like fluid pop-up Death Valley driver you'll ever see in your life. Shingo Takagi is amazing. And he follows that up with a lariat, which I don't know how anybody, let alone Master Wado, kicked out of that, which is a little weird. But immediately after, we have Bushi diving to the outside on the Zane, and then Shingo hits a nasty high angle on the neck made in Japan for the 1-2-3. If this is like, I've been trying to tell people, like, don't sleep on Master Wado. Sure, he botches sometimes. Sure, he has a Karen haircut, but Master Wado is very, very good. Do not forget all the great things we saw him do. He was one of the most exciting young lions. I liked when we knew him as Kawato. I liked him better than Jay White at the time. So don't forget, there is some good stuff here. I know Master Wado gets a lot of hate online from the fans, but look at those 2 moves that Master Wado was able to take. I think Master Wado isn't very good at offense, but he can take a move better than like 99% of professional wrestlers in the world. And don't forget, he's super young. So that pop-up Death Valley driver and that made in Japan were 2 of the most devastating moves I've seen someone take and not get paralyzed or injured in a while. So put some respect on Master Wado's name, because there's an art and there's a place for people in this industry to make other people's moves look as amazing as possible. And sure, maybe their offense isn't going to be great when they go on offense, and they need to find something, like maybe Master Wado needs to stick to maybe some like submission type stuff and take some of the bigger high risk impact moves out of his game. And then, but he also wants to have a career for himself. He doesn't want to be known as the guy that takes great moves, because he's never going to win a match ever. So it's this weird balance, but don't hate on the guy, and remember that he's young, and remember what we saw at Kawato when he was a young lion. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now, but those moves were awesome. So your winners are Los Ingobernables de Japón by pinfall in 15 minutes 53 seconds. Great match here, way better than I thought it would have been when I saw it announced. We get a 5-man fist pose by the LIJ with the usual tension tease. I think this time Shingo teased taking out Aroma this time. And Sonata weirdly makes his pecs dance as he leaves. I didn't see that coming. Sonata's like the weirdest freaking guy, bro. I don't hate Sonata, but he's just weird. Sonata's another one that gets hate from the online community. I'm not gonna say like Sonata's amazing, but I am a little biased. I love Sonata when he was in TNA Impact, and I also like that he's like the one of the last big trainees of Keiji Muto, the great Muto. Which, by the way, I might put out. I saw the free match, even though I have New Japan World and I can watch any match anytime. But the free match they put out on New Japan World on YouTube was the 1991 G1 Finals, and it was Masahiro Chona versus Keiji Muto. I want to watch that, and I think I'm going to watch it and review it. So whenever I find some time, look for that, because and go watch it yourself, and then join me over here and we'll review it. But we've got the main event next. I was really looking forward to this one. It's Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kushida teaming up to fight Bullet Club's Kenta and Taiji Ishimori. So I'll read the intro first. After both men made their returns yesterday at July 3rd, thirds in a 6-man action, Kushida and Kenta again square off on opposite corners, this time in a tag team match in Kurgan Hall. I mean, the other one was a tag team. It was a 6-man tag, and it was also in Kurgan Hall, so I don't think they needed to write that. Anyway, Kushida returned after a 3-year-plus absent a fortnight ago and immediately challenged the reigning IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Taiji Ishimori. Yet the Bone Soldier would rebuff the Time Splitter, saying that he doesn't get to call his shot so easily. He has to earn his way back up the IWGP Junior Heavyweight ladder. This match may be a key step to doing just that. Speaking of ladders, it was a gigantic tumble off a massive ladder in the Tokyo Dome January 5th that put Kenta on the shelf for 5 months. As he recovered from a litany of injuries, Kenta was thinking about Hiroshi Tanahashi the whole time. There will be no better way for Kenta to set himself up for G1 Climax 32 by beating the man who put him on the shelf. And he'll stop at nothing to do just that. So yeah, talk about some setup for a match. Woo! I'm looking forward to this one with nothing on the line, no titles, no nothing, but I'm really looking forward to this one. So Kushida's music hits, just like I said last night. It's just so great that we're going to be hearing this on a regular basis. And here we don't even have to wait 24 hours to hear it again. And then instead of Tanahashi coming out next, Ishimori's music hits. And he comes out alone. So then Kenta comes out. He too sweets the camera. I don't like Kenta's music, by the way, if you're wondering. Tanahashi out last. Somehow his hair seems longer than it was yesterday, which is impossible, but it just seemed that way. Tanahashi and Ishimori have a quick pose off to see who's in better shape, but Tanahashi admits defeat and the bell rings. So just like that, just like last night, we will start with Kushida and Ishimori in the ring. So remember, Kushida trying to prove himself to Ishimori. Apparently, Ishimori is allowed to say yes or no if Kushida is going to be a challenger or not. It's all up to Ishimori and not the officials. So it starts out kind of like last night with some great counter attack wrestling, some great grappling. The crowd loves it. I love it. That's my favorite kind of wrestling. And thumbs up from me. Kushida then goes to the back and works kicks in like Antonio Inoki did against Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm talking about. Then Kushida gets up and out wrestles Ishimori with some amateur wrestling. So don't forget, Kushida is undefeated in his MMA career. He retired undefeated with a 6-win, 0-loss, 2-draw record. Ishimori tells Kushida to back off, and then they both tag out. So Ishimori did not like getting out wrestled there, but more fuel for Kushida's fire to say, Ishimori, I'm worthy of a title shot. Tanahashi and Kenta are now in. The crowd's clapping, but Kenta gets the crowd to change the pace of their clap to a slower one, but Tanahashi gets them to go back to the one before. So the original one are like, so Kenta's is like clap, 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 and then Tanahashi's is clap, 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 clap. So they get to go back and forth between that. Pretty interesting here. It definitely shows that there might be like to me it looked like Kenta was just as popular as Tanahashi. That's what I got out of it. But it might not mean anything. But I did like it overall. Kenta gets them to go back. Then it goes back and forth. It was way more interesting than it sounds, believe me. So before they even touch, Kenta twice goes into the ropes to cause the break. And Tanahashi's making fun of Kenta, but he doesn't do a cheap shot or anything. Kenta then works a chin lock, but Tanahashi is able to power out and reverses it into his own chin lock. Kenta then pulls Tanahashi's hair, and Tanahashi's not having that, so he pulls the hair of Kenta, and they're pulling each other's hair. The referee has to break that up. Tanahashi then hits a springboard crossbody and tags in Kushida. I like how I like how Tanahashi. I mean, he's been getting up there at age, so he hasn't been able to do all the things he's been wanting to, but he has been incorporating a couple more springboard into his arsenal and stuff like that. Stuff that might like springboards kind of sound like they might be hard on your body, but really Tanahashi doesn't have to take too much impact on any part of his body on a springboard, other than maybe his wrist or maybe the knees too. So hopefully he doesn't hurt his knees on those too much. Kushida then tells Ishimori to watch what I'll do. So again, Kushida is trying to impress Ishimori since Ishimori holds the key to who his own challenges are going to be, apparently. But Kenta's able to dodge Kushida's attack here. So Kushida looking bad, saying, watch what I'll do. And then Kenta just dodges it. Kenta then hits a back elbow on Kushida. Then he shoves Tanahashi off the apron, and a 4-man brawl starts on the outside for a little bit. Not too long. Then Kenta and Kushida Kenta has Kushida in trouble and tags in Ishimori. They double team Kushida. The crowd's now rallying behind Kushida right away. And that's because Ishimori just came in. So Ishimori, as much as I like him and as much of a stud as Ishimori is, and it might just because he's really good at being a heel, but he's by far the least popular out of all 4 of these guys. The other 3 are kind of close on who's the most popular with this particular crowd between Kushida, Kenta, and Tanahashi. But by far, 4th place is Ishimori. but he really is a good heel. So that might be part of it. They beat up Kushida a little bit more, even though it's heat spots. Since it's Kenta doing it, it's still entertaining. Probably some of the best heat spot offense in the world by Kenta here. Eventually, because heat spots are almost always boring. Even if you're the fan of the heel, it's almost always boring. Eventually, Kushida, but it's not here with Kenta. So that's just a testament to how good Kenta is. Eventually, Kushida hits his patented handspring back elbow to get out of the situation. He tags in Tanahashi. Ishimori then runs in to help, but he gets thrown out by Tanahashi right away. Tanahashi hits some really good hot tag offense, but Kenta is able to dodge one, and Kenta throws Tanahashi over the top rope. Tana tries to skin the cat, but a drop kick knocks him out. So back in the out on the outside, a four-man brawl ensues for a little bit. The Bullet Club always get the advantage of any time there's a brawl on the outside, no matter what members of Bullet Club, they always get the advantage if it's a brawl on the outside. Back in the ring, Tanahashi kicks out, but ends up in a headlock right after. Tanahashi is just barely able to get the ropes. The headlock was in deep, just like the one we saw from Suzuki early in the match. That was kind of like a sleeper headlock. Anyway, tag to Ishimori now, who gets the crowd to clap for a big top rope maneuver, double team maneuver that he's about to hit, but it just turned out to be a back rake, and I love it. Some of you might not get the back rake thing. It's been a long-standing joke. Like, I've been watching wrestling for over 30 years. And for at least 20, maybe even 25 years, I'm a fan, so I know other fans were. If I was doing it with my friends, then other people were, and it's clear as day now that there's people doing these things. But our jokes back then would be like, oh yeah, if I was a wrestler, like my finisher would be the top rope back rake or something like that. Like, so that's where all these like back rake jokes come from, because oddly enough, some of those fans that were making those jokes became wrestlers. So back to the match now. Which has been really good so far. Ishimori has Tanahashi in trouble with another back rake. This one was like more legit looking and real, as opposed to like the exaggerated one. Tana is holding on to his shoulder and back area now. And I think I heard the announcer say in English, so he's saying a lot of words in Japanese, and all of a sudden you just hear ridiculous. Like, they're not liking the back rakes here. Kenta tags in and hits a back rake himself, but Tana hits a back rake on Kenta now. So a lot of back rakes in this match, 4 of them in a row. Kenta pushes Kushida off the apron and hits Tanahashi with a dragon screw leg whip, kind of hitting the man with his own move there. Kushida then breaks up a hold just as it was gets applied. Kenta throws Tanahashi into red shoes, the referee, who spills out of the ring. So we got a ref bump alert. Ishimori's now brawling near the entrance with Kushida as Kenta goes out of the ring to find something under the ring, and he finds a crutch. I guess that would be under the ring if somebody hurts their knee or something. Well, don't they have young lions to be crutches? Why is that even there? Tanahashi's able to counter the crutch attack with a sling blade. That looked nice. This gets the crowd to get really loud. Kushida then gets them to change their clap rhythm right before he tags in. So both Kushida and Ishimori tag in. And like I said, that makes me think Kushida, Tanahashi, and Kenta are all kind of close on the popularity here. Kushida leaps off the top rope and hits a brain buster on Ishimori. Really nice crossbody, then rolls through and hits a stomp on Ishimori. So Ishimori just got destroyed with like 4 good moves in a row. That roll through stomp looked great. Kushida then makes a cocky pin. I mean, it was kind of cocky. He still had his knee on the chest really aggressively, but it still looked cocky, like he was playing around with Ishimori. But that might have been on purpose, because as soon as Ishimori kicks out, we get really nice palm strikes to Ishimori's face. So I think Kushida just wanted to get the opening to get some palm strikes on Ishimori's face. And then we get a hip drop into an armbar by Kushida. Tanta gets in and puts Kenta in the cloverleaf. So we've got an armbar and a cloverleaf here. Both Bullet Club members are able to get out. Ishimori hits a forearm, but Kushida drop kicks that arm, the one that he just had in the armbar. Ishimori fights through the pain and blocks another armbar attempt. Both men are down now. Tanahashi and Kenta are fighting on the outside, and they end up brawling through the curtain and to the backstage area. So that's our cue that we know that this match is ending soon. And I think right when that happened, I hear the ring announcer say it's been at the 20-minute mark. So Here's our cue. Ishimori motions to end it. After a few counters back and forth, Ishimori gets a beautiful looking spinning armbar thing and quickly transitions it into a crossface. And Ishimori really wrenches back, folding Kushida backwards in half. Kushida is forced to tap out. The winners are Bullet Club by submission in 20 minutes, 51 seconds. And wow. I mean, I kind of assumed since Bullet Club lost last night. But here, Kushida paying his dues, like I said earlier with Clark Connors, Kushida paying a little dues for leaving and coming back. Has to tap out in his second match. Winners are Bullet Club by submission, like I said, 20 minutes, 51 seconds. Ishimori gets on the mic. He's laughing at Kushida a lot until Kushida finally leaves, and then Ishimori gets down to business. So I'll be back later once I get the translations, and I'll let you guys know what they say. I'll make a separate video. It'll be called NJPW Backstage Comments, July 4th, 2022. So look out for that. I did one for yesterday as well, and I'll be back with tomorrow's review as well. So it'll be the last show before G1. We've got just these 3 shows in a row here. Tomorrow's main event is the never open weight 6-man tag. The semi-main event is the dog cage match. But from everything we've seen in these other matches, like that's the worst feud, those 2 matches. So I'm sure the card tomorrow is going to end up being pretty good. The July 5th card, since the 2 things we care the least about are in the semi-main event and the main event. But at least there's a title match to look forward to, and like I said, that dog cage match could end up being pretty interesting. So I'll be back before the July 5th review of New Japan Road with the backstage comments, so we can all know what's going on with the storylines. Go check. It was some really, really important stuff said in the backstage comments yesterday, so go check out my video on that. Hit me a subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. And I'm gonna get going. I'll be back later with more videos, as well as I cover everything from AEW, WWE, NXT, MLW, and NWA. So if I can ever find some more time, Stardom is on the top of my list to add to the rotation. So I will talk to you guys again soon, very soon. Only a couple hours from now, I'll be back, and we'll go from there. But yeah, after these 3 shows, there's a little bit of break. We got I think it's like 11 or 12 days. There's no New Japan until, well, other than New Japan Strong, they get a little bit of break, and then G1 will start. So then we'll find out more about what the cards on G1 are going to be, what's in the preliminary rounds, what are they going to do with some of the junior heavyweights and some of the guys that aren't a part of the G1, and then we'll be able to figure out, all right, well, now who's going to go out on the excursion, because like we said, we had a bunch of people calling out people from AEW, like, for instance, El Desperado wants a shot at Moxley's AEW titles, so that could be something we see. So I'll let you guys know what's going on, and if you don't follow AEW, I'll try and keep you up to date on what's going on with AEW as well, if anything comes up New Japan wise. There was something that came up. It was Goto and YOSHI-HASHI got a shot at Young Bucks, where if they had won, they would have got a title shot for the AEW World Title tag titles. But the Young Bucks end up winning that match. That was on Friday's Rampage. You can find that on NJPW World if you're in Japan. If you happen to be listening to me in Japan. So I'm gonna get going. Talk to you guys again soon. Have a great weekend. Peace. I guess it's not the weekend anymore. Well, peace anyway.